Hey, good morning guys. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to continue on the powder coating oven. I've got myself set up. Let me show you what I've done off camera. So what I've gone ahead and done the complete inner seam weld. What I've done also is put a sealant on it. Now that's a high temp sealant, can be sanded and painted over. It is made by JB Weld. Handles up to 500 Fahrenheit. Can go up to 600 if need be. I've used it before, have no issues of using it within the oven. Most powder coating services are at 400 Fahrenheit, so we're good to go. What I've done is tested this product after being painted. It actually works really well and it can withstand quite a bit of heat. So why I did that is, if you guys have ever welded sheet metal before, it's pretty tedious. Got a clean weld, we smoothened it out, just making sure that there's no pinholes in there. Okay guys? So she's looking pretty good. So today we're gonna go back in and we're gonna actually cut some metal and make a valance. So the valance is, or valance, depending how you guys want to pronounce it, it's gonna fill in this void up here, okay? So it's gonna overlap this 2x2 pipe and go flush inside here. Then we'll tack it in place, okay? Because then of course the front door is gonna overlap slightly or go right up to it. We're also gonna mount our heat coils and control panel today, just to get everything laid out where we need it. And see how much we can actually get done today. Next will be wiring, okay? And then I'll get the control panel out and go from there. So let me put this camera back on a tripod and let's rock and roll. Okay guys, well come on over here. I'm going to grab the tape measure and we're going to start off with cutting this valance. So what we need is, of course, the valance has got to go to the top of this and pretty well flush to the bottom of the, well, to the top of this. So we're going to start off from here. We're going to measure to the bottom, so it's 6 inches, and that should be 6 inches also, and it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sheet metal here. We're going to mark 6 inches. We're going to throw a line, cut it. I won't take out the thing for now, the plasma cutter, because it's not that much cutting to do. So let's mark 6 inches. This seems to be a pretty clean line there. 6 inches. And we'll mark it. And we'll cut that with the death wheel. And we should be good. Okay, so now the pipe we know is 2 inches. So we'll make a 2-inch mark. This speed square here is 2 inches thick. So I'm just going to make another line. That's not a cut line. We're just going to score that, so it's going to make life easier to bend. And of course we'll clean it up. There we go. Hoping that you guys could see that. Get that out of the way for a second. So I got myself a new mic. I'm so hoping that the new mic is going to work better for us. So let's give this a whirl. Let's try to cut this. Let's move the welder out of the way for a second. And I will plug myself in. Put on some safety glasses. And let's give this thing a cut. When I score it, I am going to use a straight edge. And I'll clamp it down and I'll run the blade or the wheel up against the square edge. And this way the line's pretty straight. So let's give this a cut. Let's see how she works. All right, we got that cut. Let's move this out of the way for now. Okay, we'll clean up those edges to make sure everything's good. So what you're going to see down here is my 2-inch. Hopefully you guys can see that, my 2-inch mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie this down. We're going to go get a flat edge. Okay, so before we actually edge, we got to cut out 2 inches at the bottom line. So let's do that. And then we can edge it, and then we'll bend it and clean it up and make sure that she's good. Need my square again. I know somebody said they do a lot of Totally agree with that. Okay, so let me mark 2 inches here. And that there. I absolutely love this layout table, guys. Absolutely love it. Works awesome. Great. It was worth the investment of moving things around with the HVAC or the vacuum system and all of the above. So very happy with that. All right, so let's cut this out and go from there. Then I'll show you how I'm going to score this thing. All right, she's cut out. Okay, so I'm going to put it right on here like so. I'm going to put our clamp. So what I want to do is see where my blade is, and I'm pretty good there. So the height of that blade has got enough on it, so we're good. So we're going to clamp this down on that. Just like that. And we'll do the same on this one. And then we'll score it. Just makes life a little easier, and I don't have a metal bend or press. Maybe one day. But for now, this is how I do it. Okay, so that shouldn't move. So what I'll be able to do is just take my light pressure and run it across. And that's all she wrote for that. So we should be able to bend that without any problem. Let me get... whereabouts is she? She's right here. All right. Let me move this cord out of the way for a second, guys. It's in the way. All right. So let's see if we can get this thing to bend. Okay guys, there you go. So that's the profile of the bend I did. And I want you to take a look at the profile of this pipe. So we try to keep the profile the same, okay? This way she looks consistent and she sits pretty good. So I mean, it's, you know, a backyard bend, but the face of it is perfect. There's no any demarcations on it or any bends on it. And the underneath is going to be pushed up against the top of that bar, and she should work out good. So let's get this on the oven. Let's take a look. So guys, we're going to get this piece on there. I know I keep saying okay. Let's get this piece on and see where we're at. Oh, very nice. Okay, so we're going to clamp that on and we'll tack weld it from the back side. Let me grab 2 small clamps. All right, let's clamp that in place. Then what I'll do is I'll bring you in a little closer again once it's on there, so you guys can take a look. Quite happy with that. It's sitting pretty flush. Not bad. Pretty good. Okay, so that one's on. Valance is on, guys. She looks pretty good. There you go, guys. I got the valance welded in, both sides. We'll clean that up, clean up that weld. She's looking good. All right, guys. Let me put my safety glasses on. Get those on, and we'll clean that up. Plug this in. All right. She's cleaned up beautifully, guys. Okay, so now we're going to move on to getting the coils mounted. What we're going to do is we'll tape them in place, make sure I'm happy where they are, and then proceed to drill them in and mount them, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, so what I've gone ahead is marked everything out where they're going to lay out. I drew it on the back wall. Okay, so she's looking pretty good. So I used the 2-inch pipe as a spacer off the bottom, and that's going to work out quite nicely. So what we'll do is we'll drill the holes out and take a look at them. What I'm going to do is pre-drill the mounts. This way it's easy to put them on, and then we'll drill a hole in behind. But once I get there, I'll show you. But let me drill the hole for the actual mounting of the burners. I'm just looking at them. So basically they're about 5 3/4 inches off each wall, and about 5 3/4, maybe just slightly larger in the middle. And that's best as I can do to get them centered off, giving me a little extra room if I ever want to change the coils. So that's going to work out quite nicely. So let me drill that up, and let's see if I can hit that angle iron in the back, and go from there. Okay guys, so we're going to drill that out. Let's see how that works out. I've got my nuts and bolts ready for that, and I got a drill bit ready for that. Let's move this one over here for now, and we'll move this one up here. We'll know that that's for there. Let's see if we can drill that through. Okay, let's put a bolt through it for now. All right. Just to see where everything is. There we go. That's that one. Okay, let's put that one in place. All right. Now the bolts on the back side of this will be welded in place. Once I got everything set up, the only thing I won't weld is the brackets at the bottom, okay? Because if we ever have to change anything or move it around, we can. Okay, so that's that. So next step is this one goes in here like so. Beautiful. Okay, so let's pre-drill these. I'm going to grab a drill bit, and we've got some more self-tappers. Perfect. And then we'll get those in. I had marked them before, but I just want to make sure that they're sitting where they're supposed to be, somewhat. And they look somewhat right. A little off here, but that's okay. And then we'll mark it there. Mark it there. Mark it there. Mark it there. I'm just going to put a little mark on the outside, just so I know where they are. There we go. So we should be able to drill those. And that should be the right bit. Okay guys, so we pre-drilled for that, so we can mount those in. We're going to pre-drill a hole underneath now, so I can run two 10-gauge wires through, and then we'll mount those brackets in. Let me get a step bit. I'll bring you in once I've got everything kind of prepped. So basically, I'm going to pre-drill through here, okay, for the actual coils to mount. This way I'm not fussing with it later. Okay, that one's done. Okay, that one's done. So guys, this is all test fitting and making sure everything sits where it's supposed to. I mean, that's where I want the coils mounted, so they're going to look pretty good. So let's see if we can get this to sit there properly, and if we can mount them in properly. Now there's going to be on these, we're going to actually have I guess a heat blocker pad that's going to be stuck to the bottom of these on the inside. I will show you that, but what I want to do is make sure I can get these things mounted properly first, and then we'll take them off and we'll put that on when we're ready, okay? I also have to remove everything from there because I have to paint. So this is just kind of test fitting everything to make sure everything fits the way it's supposed to. And that's number 2. All right. Okay, we're going to need a couple more of those. Thought I had 4. They're so tiny you'll lose them. And then this, of course, will be pushed up against there and mounted in, and then I'll show you what it looks like. But let me get a couple more of those self-tappers and we'll get them in there. So I went ahead and got some more self-tappers. Let's get this tapped in where she's supposed to go. Once I get it all put into place, I'll bring you guys in closer so you can see what I've done. No need to ream these in because I'm going to be taking them out. No, I don't want to ream it in, so that's okay. Going to make sure that everything fits the way it's supposed to. Let's grab a couple of more of those self-tappers. I think we're looking pretty good. Let's get that one mounted properly. There we go. In place. Once in place, this we can just straighten out. And we need 2 more for over there, and we're good. So let's go grab another 2, and those are mounted in just the way they should be. Beautiful. Okay, let me grab another 2 of those. Nice. There we go. Those are mounted. Now, they'll all have to come back out again, but at least they're mounted in there. So let's start taking these things apart. so I can show you where I'm up to next. Alright, I got those off. I got them marked as 1 and 2, which will make sure that they go back in the same spot. This way we're not over drilling holes. And we'll take this off, like so. And I will mark this so we know they were going the same spot. This is number 2. That's number 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this nut and bolt back on here because we want to weld that stud back there. I want this pretty tight up against the there we go. And this way I can weld that back there. Okay, and this is number 1. Just mark it number 1. I'll put that there. And we'll put that nut and bolt back on there. Or just bolt back on. Okay. This way I can heat it up and weld it on from the back. It's snug enough. Okay, we're good. So let's get this welder on. We'll weld those bolts in. Turn this puppy on. Am I okay with gas? Well, I'm almost out of gas too. All right, that's not gonna go nowhere. All right, so let me move you over so I can show you how I'm gonna heat safe these things and what product I'm gonna use. Give me a second, and I will move you over. I'm just gonna clean my workstation a bit. Okay guys, so this is the product. It's actually made by Hilti. It's a fire stop product for electrical boxes and so forth. Usually used in commercial buildings. So what I'm going to do is actually going to use it in here, and what it's going to do for us is it's going to help us with blocking the heat off the elements, off the wiring. So the game plan is I'm going to draw this out, and we're going to have a little extra to play with. So I'm going to draw this bottom out like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then we're going to cut it. So and we're going to try to get that to stick in there. And hopefully that works. So you're supposed to wear gloves with this stuff. I'm just going to grab a scissor. Let me put a pair of gloves on. Try to follow the manufacturer's requirements when handling anything, guys. You never know what we got going on. Okay, so the game plan is to fold this somewhat. See if I can get it to fold properly. Not quite. No, I will. Proves to be quite tacky. Okay, so there it is, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece for the other side. And we'll pop that in there. So what's our thickness here? Pretty well there. And cut this way. So what I did is I left the back side, paper side on. It's actually a lot easier to work with. We'll do that for the next one. And will this one fit here? Yes, it will. So we'll put that one in there. And these two pieces that are sticking out, I'll put on the other lip. So let me go get a knife, we'll cut that. Maybe I'll do it with the scissor. Not bad. And then here, we'll just cut that like that. Actually, let me take that off. I'm going to take the paper off. Not quite sure how they want you to use this with gloves, guys, because it definitely a lot easier working with it just with your hands. Okay. I got a piece of paper stuck in there. We got to get that out. There we go. And now we'll just cut this off. there we go, guys. She looks pretty good. Okay, I'll bring you up closer so you can see. Oops, sorry about that. But she is completely sealed up. So we'll do the other one the same way. I'll go grab another pad and we'll do that. And what I'll do is I'll draw it again. Cut that with a scissor. 1, 2, 3. And we'll peel this guy off. And what I'm going to do is I'll leave the paper on it. I think that might work out just in my favor. Of course, the paper's got to come off, right, guys? Just leaving it on there so I don't get my hands all over it. Well, it was a lot easier to put it in. Now let's see if I can get the paper off. That might be a little bit more of a challenge. Let's try it. Well, not too bad. It's a little easier pushing it in with the paper on. Okay. Not bad. A lot easier working with your hands. The gloves seem to carry everything and make a mess. But I'm not quite sure what the data sheet on this thing is. I don't even know. Cut that. Let's get that paper out of there. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. All right, let me cut the other one. Get the paper out of this thing. All right, so we need 2 little strips on the sides. Papers on the sides there, and 1 more on the other side, and we're good. Okay, so that's in, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the excess. Like so. All right, I'll leave that extra for a rainy day, and I'll get you guys to see that. That came out better, and all the seals are in there. Okay, so once that mounts up against it, we're good. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll put that here, and those are ready to go. Okay guys, I got it cleaned up back there. We're gonna get some high heat paint. We're just gonna throw a little bit of hot paint in behind those. This way they stay no bare metal. There we go. There we go, guys. I'll let that dry for a few minutes, and then I'll give it another shot of paint. Okay, so that paint is dry. So what we're going to do is, if you remember, we numbered these coils. Now I'm going to put them back in. I'm not going to torque them. I'm just going to place them in there lightly. We got a washer and a lock washer. Okay, so let's get this one, and we won't over tighten it. We're just going to leave it in there snug. So this is the reason why I welded the pieces in the back. This way we wouldn't have to ever worry about them spinning on us, because of course the back will be covered. And we had these numbered 1 and 2 just in case if there was any slight differences in the actual coil. Sometimes there is, but is looking pretty good. Putting them back in the oven because I just think it's safer to have them in here than lying around in the shop. There we go. And of course I marked these 1 and 2. So let's put those back in. This is number 2. Paint's dry, which is good. We grab the other one. All right. That's good. So these ones, I'll just tack them in so they don't move around. I won't over torque them. Okay, that one's in. Now let's do that on this side. Nice. Loosen that up a little. And we'll put those in place. Coils are in nice. I think I got them all in. Yep. There you go, guys. Coils are mounted. So the next step is to, what's our next step? So our next step is actually to mount the controller. And then, of course, we'll start up with some wiring. And then once we got the wiring done, we'll do a test run and go from there. So let's get ready to mount the controller. So guys, I got everything set up. We're going to go ahead and get our control panel in. So what I've done here is I have an extra box, utility box that I made the control panel with, and we're going to use that to mark it up on the oven. I've got my drill out ready. We're going to do a few things. We're going to get a few things prepped. We're going to do the install of the light. My suggestion when you guys are playing around with this light, you'll notice, I'll move over here and I'll show you. Take the glass out and the bulb out. Believe me, you will break it. From past experience. Anyway, also I've got the thermocoupler ready to be mounted. I've got my nuts and bolts ready for the control panel with some spacers. And I'll show you how that's all going to work out, and we'll get started. So we're going to mark it up on here. I'll bring you over. So remember we installed these two bars, and these two bars of course have the slots in them. So if I can get you up higher there, you can see. And then of course they're gonna have one lower down. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get you a little lower. There you go. And those slots are, of course, are for the wiring that are gonna run the lower end of the oven, or lower portion of the oven. We're gonna try to keep all the wiring off the back side and of course the sides. The only one side, of course, is the chaser that comes up here, and that will be insulated and the wire will be shielded. The wire itself is a high temp wire. It's rated for 200 Celsius per line. So with the shielding, we should be up to anywhere between 1,000 to 1,100. The shielding is a fiberglass component that covers the wire. Works awesome. I've used it in my other builds, and we will use it on this. So let me get this camera on a tripod and we'll get started. So we got the oven facing here. So what we're going to do is get a Sharpie. So guys, I apologize with some of the deep breathing. I've had a cold, and the new mic that I've got actually works really well. So we'll get a tape measure. We'll measure out where we kind of want it to lie out. Actually, we can just take the box. Let me grab it. So this is the box, identical to the one I have, right? So we're going to use that just to get an idea of where we're going to be sitting, and we'll line it up properly. Wiring is going to sit there somewhat. We don't want to be too close to the edge. So probably about, I'm going to say, not too far off. Maybe about an inch away from the edge of that 2x2 pipe. So let me grab a tape measure. We've got some beautiful weather here today, here in Canada. You know, we're getting to the 22nd of October, and we're hitting 20, 22 degrees, which is friggin' incredible. Okay, so I'm gonna do an inch away from that. An inch away from that. And we'll throw a square up against that, just to make sure. And then I will double check. But I am pretty sure I am square. And we'll mark it. There we go. So inside this box, I don't know if you guys can see that, we've got the pre-drilled holes right from the manufacturer. We're going to use that. And there you'll see a dimple in the inside of this box. And that's going to be for our ground, okay? And we'll put that on there. Well, let's come on over here. Maybe you guys can see that. So I'm going to line it up there to where I marked. Somewhat. We want to try to get it as straight as we can. Now, it's looking pretty good. It's going to slip and slide on me. And we're going to mark those holes. There we go. So markings are on there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So what we'll do is get a punch. We'll make a indent in the center, and then we'll drill those out and we'll tap them. So let me get my punch ready. I did have a punch out. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got my drill ready. So what I've done is I'm going to tap those or thread those. So let's see if we can get these to drill nice and straight. much aggression there. Let's put a piece of angle iron behind this way. I'm not denting the inside of the oven. Good. Okay, so that's drilled. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our top set out, and we'll put some thread on that. I think that is 12. The bolt I'm using is a 12M, M12. So should be okay. Use a little bit of lube on that. Thread it pretty easy. Of course, you're going to try to hold these as straight as you can when you're tapping. I mean, we're only going through 1/8, so there's 4 of them, so it should be good. That's good. We'll wipe that stuff off. All right. Nicely threaded, guys. Perfect. Let me wipe that off. Let me get my bolt nut and see what we got going on and make sure that it fits. It should. Okay, maybe not. Gotta go one up. Let me just get a nut here and see why that's happening. That shouldn't be happening. That's strange. Oh, we gotta go up one. Why is that? Okay. Let me double check. Okay, so maybe that was set off. Maybe I moved this thing over. That's a good possibility. All right, let's try this one and see if this is better. Seems to be. Before I continue, let me just see if I can get this in there. Okay, that's the ticket. All right. Got that one done. Get this one done. All right, I think we're good. Beautiful. All right. These things, I always put them away because I know that if I leave them around, I won't find them and I'll end up breaking them. So let me just put this away. We're going to need it again when we do, oh, actually, I don't think we're going to need it again because the light does when we mount the light, it's actually a nut and bolt. Okay, so let me take apart the control panel. We'll put this one away because we're not going to need that at the moment. All right, so let me unscrew this one. Move this out of the way. What I'll do is unscrew these completely right off. This way I'm not sliding them around on the freshly painted box. You just got to be careful you don't lose them. Should have my magnet plate out, but that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to get that put in. Okay, so I got my ratchet and I got my spacer. So what we'll do is we'll get one on. Lightly let it hang. Go dropping it. Grab another one of those. Then once I have it permanently mounted, we'll put lock washers in behind to keep it locked into place properly and without loosening up, hopefully. And what I'll do is I'll bring you guys in a little closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. But let me get this mounted somewhat. Oops. Pick that up. All right. Let's grab another one. Okay, so let's get that last nut and bolt in. Just tighten them up a bit. and we'll get the face back on, guys, and then we'll show you. I want to over torque them, but she's in there. She's in pretty tight. And then we'll put the facings of the screws back on, right, and go from there. So you guys can see. Once I have it all put back together, I'll bring you in a little closer so you can see the spacers. And we'll go from there. Just hand tighten them for now, and then I will go in and tighten them up, so we don't strip them or scratch the face. Tighten them up a bit. Not over torque, guys, because I'm going to be taking, I got to take all this apart again. So there's a lot of work still to be done on this control panel. The outlet or inlet for the wiring to come into the control panel, and the outlet for the power cord. There's going to be a power bar inside, so we can do all the wiring, and we'll definitely do a full video on the wiring aspect of the whole thing, and of course hooking up the fan and the light. But there she is. She looks awesome. Of course, the spacers are here. This about an inch away from the actual face of the oven, or the side of the oven, which we want. Allows heat travel in between. Of course, I'll still have the outer skin put on there, and then we go from there. So let me bring you in a little closer so you guys can actually see what that looks like, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's see if I can get a better view for you guys to see the spacers. So that's what they actually look like, and it's sitting off the side of the oven. Perfect. And it's about an inch and a bit away from the edge, which is perfect. Okay, so now we're going to move on to getting the light installed and the thermocoupler. So before we actually install the light, let me give you some insight on exactly how I'm going to do it. So what a lot of people don't realize is, theoretically, you put the light in the center of the oven and it's great. The problem is that what I want to do is I want to have a bracket so we can hang stuff. And I want this bracket to be able to spin so I can utilize each corner of the oven, because it gives us an extra couple of inches. So if we were going to put something in that's slightly larger, we could twist this mounting bracket, okay? And that's going to be mounted right dead center of the oven. So by saying that, we have to make sure we have the light offset, so when we're spinning this, we're not actually hitting the light. Now, you can lower this so it covers, so we can spin it across the light, but we have a bar here that's dead center of the oven, so we can't actually mount it up on that side. So what'll happen is we'll have the light slightly offset, maybe a little further closer to the front, and then I'll have the heat coupler back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mag drill ready to rock and roll. I'm going to get my bit on there, and I'll show you how I'm going to drill that. Maybe what I'll do is I'm going to have to get up on a ladder, and then I will show you, maybe try to videotape some of it as it's happening. Okay, guys? So let me get the mag drill ready, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm out on top of the oven. What I've done is mark the center of that support pipe, and I just mocked up my angle iron that I'm going to use for mounting. Okay, I've given myself lots of clearance for spinning, okay, which should work out quite nicely. I've got my mag drill set up. I can bring it a tad closer. That would work. We can do that just to get it a little closer to the center of that oven. So let me move it a bit. Let me see if I can move it up a bit. There we go. And then we should be okay. I mean, if I have to, I'll trim this down a bit to make sure it clears. And we're somewhat in the middle of the oven, this way. Okay, long ways, or but I think we're going to be okay. So let's put this magnet on. It's going to hum. There we go. And it's pretty tight. And what we'll do is we'll just add a little bit of lube. We'll turn it on. She's through, just like that. So let's shut that magnet off. We'll move this over. And we'll clean that up and make sure that light fits. So give me a sec. Okay guys, so let's see if we can get this light to fit. I'm pretty sure she's gonna go in just perfectly. There she is. Let's see what she looks like from the top. I'm gonna go up this step ladder. There we go. Perfect. We'll mount it somewhat like that. And we got to drill the holes from underneath and screw that in. So we're good. Then we'll do the fire stop, and we'll put it around the light just to keep the heat under control. And then we're good. Now we got to drill the hole for the coupler, and we'll probably drill the hole right about here for the coupler. And that should be good. So let me get the coupler bit on this chuck here, and we'll drill that out. And first we got to make sure we got enough cord, and I think we do, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so I've got the bit ready for the thermocoupler. I'm going to put it off in the slightly in the back corner. So let me put the magnet on. Shut that magnet off. We're just going to make sure that she fits. Let me go grab that thermocoupler. Give me a second. We'll make sure. And then since we're up here, we'll put the bolt through this for the bracket for underneath, and we'll drill that. Since I've got the mag drill out already, we'll do that. So let me get the thermocoupler and we'll take a look. Okay guys, so mold it out a little bit with the bit. She's in there. I got the bolt for underneath, so let's go back underneath. Go down my step ladder here. I'll have to grab that and tighten it. It's kind of hard doing tightening a bolt. There we go. With the camera in my hand, I did it. There we go. So now we'll do the bracket here, and then we'll drill the holes for the light, and we should be good. So let me get on that. So guys, I've gone ahead and marked dead center of that pipe, the brace that we put in the side of the oven, or the top of the oven. Let's put the magnet on. Let's turn the drill on. we should be good. Let me see if that bolt fits, and it should, and we'll go from there. There we go, guys. She fits beautifully, and she should be able to come right through, like so. And then we'll put a nut on that and weld the nut in place, and we're good. This way we can take this out if we need to, and put it back in if we need to. So we're good. Okay, so up here is pretty well done for drilling. We'll have to drill a few holes for the light, but I'll do that from underneath and with a hand drill. But we can put this mag drill away and go from there. Okay guys, so I've got my bar here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pre-drill this angle iron, so for the hanger. So what I'll do is I'll mount it on here. We'll pre-drill some holes. This way we can hook stuff on this to actually hang stuff inside the oven. And this of course will spin. So let me tighten this up on my brace here, and we will drill those out. Now we can make them bigger, and we could do that, not a problem. We'll need the cord. And we'll drill those out, and we should be good. There we go. The magnet on. Get a little bit of lube. I might have it on the top of the oven still, and I do. All right. Let me get around this side here, just to keep that blade a little cool. There we go, guys. She's drilled up perfectly. So what we're going to do is we'll clean this up. We shut this magnet off. And I will clean those ends up and make it look good. So I've got my safety glasses on. Let's clean this up. All right, she looks pretty good to me, guys. So there she is. You guys can see that. We've got the 3 holes mounted, or drilled I should say, and then we've got the mounting hole. Now what I did is I rounded off all the corners so they're not sharp, and that should work out perfect. So let's get this back in the oven, and then what we'll do is we'll find some nut and bolts for the light. We'll drill that and get that mounted, and then we'll tack the bolts up on top of the oven. All right, guys, let's get this on there. Maybe we should tighten that up a bit. Let me grab a wrench and we'll tighten that up. This way when we're welding it, we're not all over the map. Okay. have to over torque it, but just enough that it's nice and snug. And it is. It's looking good. Okay, so that'll be ready to tack in. We're good. Let me put this away and we'll get that light mounted and drilled. And that should work out good. If need be, we'll make those holes a little bigger, but for now we'll leave them as is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and drill the holes out for this light. I'm going to do it from underneath, just so, because I've got it marked. Okay, let's get some nuts and bolts for this thing. I had them out somewhere. Okay, so I found the nut and bolts. Let's see if we can get this to sit in right. We want it somewhat like that. Of course, it's going to be a little tight. I think I still have my ratchet out. And it's not the right size. Why would it be? Give me a second, let me grab the right ratchet. Alright, let's see if we can tighten that one in. And then we'll go up on top and put the bolt in, the nut in, I should say. That one's good. And are we lined up? There we go. Huh. Okay. She's not lined up. There we go. A little bit of persuading and she's in flush. All right, there we go. We'll put the nut on the top, and these nuts will have to get tacked in so they don't move, which is nice. Tighten those up. Okay. We're in nice and flush, guys. So let's just make sure that I can get the glass lens in, that we haven't distorted anything, and that I've got clearance. We're in perfectly. That's great. All right, so let's get the welder out and we will tack in those bolts on the top, and this should clear. Yep. And I think it'll clear all the way around. It will, beautifully. Okay, let's take that off because we don't want to break it. But we're good. All right, I think I got this welder dialed in. Put my gloves on. And let's weld that in. As soon as I weld it, what I'll do is I will bring you in closer on top and show you what I got going on so you can see it. I'm hoping I can reach. I'm pretty sure I can. All right, let's get those tacked in. That should be good. That should be good there. That's going to have to go to the back of the oven, guys. What I'll do is I'll lean this on top. Hopefully not drop it. And do that back portion. Okay, I don't think that's going anywhere. Maybe just a touch more. Can't barely see. All right, we're good. All right, that's all she wrote for up here. So I got that bolt welded in. So that's why I welded in is really simple. Is that if we want to loosen it and remove it, we can put it back in without worrying about losing the bolt, of course, because this is all going to be covered. And the same with this, the bolts are tacked in. I mean, those bolts are real small. Give them a light tack, and she's pretty tight. What I am going to do here is I'm going to put a little bit of the fire stop. I'm going to cut a strip and put it right around the light housing, just to make sure that we're not losing any heat from there. And the heat coupler wire is back there, and it's running through that hole that we pre-drilled into the control panel. So we're good. We're good. Come back down here. Looking really good, guys. The standoffs on the control panel. So guys, I'm gonna cut it here. I don't want the videos to get too long. But I hope you guys really enjoyed watching. I'm trying to make it as detailed as I can. Hopefully inspire one of you guys to give it a shot. Next video, we'll be getting into running the wiring and getting it to insulating and a whole bunch of stuff. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed watching. I know they're getting a little long, but making them detailed, like how I'm trying to make them, they get along. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll like and subscribe to the channel. It truly will help me out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.